Runners, my goal throughout this whole presentation is to change your belief system. At the moment, if you spent the last months, years, decades trying to achieve the goal of becoming leaner, stronger, and faster all at the same time, but what you've been doing hasn't helped you achieve that goal, then something needs to change. And I'm going to just open your eyes up to to the situation. First of all, the worst thing you can do is hire someone who doesn't understand your problem. So a regular PT, a coach that coaches might have amazing results, but that amazing result might be for someone who doesn't run. The approach that they go through in comparison to the approach you need to go through is very, very different. I'm talking from experience. I've coached loads of runners that have had these coaches and gone through this problem. So I want to make sure that you don't make that same mistake. The most fat loss coaching was never designed for running, and I'll tell you why. Because a lot of the narrative online pushes you in the direction to cut calories. If you cut your calories as a runner, you're going to create internal inflammation. If you don't recover from this inflammation, that's when your body will start to look puffy, soft, and stubborn. Also, you will slow down your metabolism so much because you're in a huge calorie deficit. So then you lose muscle as well. And that's why you can't follow that same approach, because you will just hit a dead end and you'll go round and round in the same cycle until you have an approach that really emphasizes metabolic health and also hormonal stability. That's when you'll start to reduce that inflammation and you'll be able to start to look like a runner. And you are not just trying to lose weight, because at the end of the day, this is just one small metric. You want to be losing inches from your waist, inches from your hips, and you actually want to feel like you can give the most output throughout your runs. So you don't want to just be trying to achieve a number on the scales, because why would you let a number on the scales dictate how you look? Perspective. If you weighed, let's say, 5 kg heavier than you are now, but you had, let's say, abs, or you had hardly any body fat around your whole body, and you was running PBs every 4 to 8 weeks, you wouldn't care about that number on the scales. The only reason we care about that is because our belief system has been, we believe to care about that, and we've believed for years and years and years that we need to hit a certain number. So until we change that perspective, you're just going to continue to believe that same pattern. So we need to break out of that. And the answer, as I mentioned earlier, isn't to cut calories, because you'll go through this cycle. Well, I'll let you just look at that: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You'll just go through round and round and round and round, and it just builds frustration. As a runner, you want to feel confident. You want to have confidence in your strategies, because you're running. I assume that you do have confidence in that, as that's one thing that isn't your bottleneck, and the one thing that you've potentially been doing for years and years. Whereas when we look at nutrition, can we confidently say that the approach that you're currently doing is actually helping you achieve the outcome that you want to achieve? The likelihood is, if you're watching this, probably not. And you need someone who understands the problem. Myself, I'm a runner, and I've coached 400 runners now. So when coaching runners lose body fat and become faster and understand exactly what they need to eat in order to feel their best, look their best, it's easy for me, because I'm doing it day in, day out, looking at data. I can actually understand the predictability behind results for runners. I don't coach anyone else outside of runners, maybe triathletes, high rockers, because there has running in. But if you go to someone who doesn't understand any of this, what are they going to do? They're going to give you the approach they give to all of their other clients, which is reducing calories, pushing you further into that hole, which you certainly don't need to be in anymore. You need to get out of that hole. Your body needs to feel strong. You need to heal internally. Because if you don't, it's like driving your car long distance when it's got no fuel in. The answer isn't to reduce, it's to reset, it's to give the car fuel, it's to give your body fuel. Stop treating your body as if it's a science experiment. Give it the attention it deserves and the support it needs. And I've done exactly what I'm asking for you and trying to open your perspective to. I've hired multiple coaches. I have coaches today to hold me to my high standard, and also to remove the guesswork from absolutely everything. Because right now, if you like it or not, you will make decisions, especially with nutrition, based out of an emotional standpoint. When you make decisions based out of, that's based off of a subconscious self bias. Whereas if you have someone that's done the thing, as I mentioned, and helped others do it, they can make the logical decision for you. So then you can actually move the needle and get the results you want. Does that make sense? And that's ultimately what we need to go through in order for you to achieve the result you want to achieve, because emotion isn't benefiting you right now. And one result can be luck. A repeatable process is a system, which just means that you can get quick fixes, and that can be luck. You're just going to get drawn online for loads of different red shiny objects. You will look, here's a new quick fix. Oh, let's try this. Let's go on a juice cleanse. Let's go on keto. This isn't going to serve you long term. Do you want to be on a juice cleanse for 12, 20, 30, 40 years or the rest of your life? Definitely not. You need something that's going to last for the rest of your life, that's sustainable. That's what my whole 3-step system's all around. Sustainability. Can you actually maintain the result that you have achieved? Because this is so important. And also, is it benefiting your running? Eating just fat from keto, that isn't going to benefit your running, is it? Juice cleansing, how are you meant to be the best runner possible if you're doing that? It's just never going to happen. And like, just talking about the 3-step system and what I do, it's so simple, but it's so hard to execute because you've not done the thing. It's like if I wanted to become a lawyer, give me all the information on how to become one. But if I'm not physically shown one-to-one exactly how to go through each process, am I going to become the best lawyer possible? Definitely not. It's just going to be based out of guesswork. More importantly, will I have confidence in what I'm doing? No. Where's the certainty? No certainty, no result. So just to take you through the 3-step system, which is going to ultimately change your life as a runner. I will rebuild everything from the ground up, which in simple terms means we will fix your nutrition straight away in order to achieve the result that you want to achieve, which is to lose fat. So that means that we have to fix A, your metabolism, and B, hormonally, we need to become stable. If you achieve these two throughout the first phase with me, losing body fat long term will become a lot easier. And also step 3, which is maintaining, this will really help with that. Because if you have a fast metabolism, maintaining that lean physique whilst running becomes efficient. I went through this process about 4 years ago, and I've stayed relative the same body fat since. And I don't have to put any attention into thinking about nutrition now, other than I've got someone to hold me accountable in a coach. But that's just to help with execution and just take my own emotion out of things. So phase 1 is really rebuilding things, getting you back eating the right amount of food that your body needs to A, perform, and B, to become metabolically stable, hormonally stable. Then phase 2, this is ultimately where we see the results that we want to see. We stop treating every day like the same day. We actually have a structure for your weeks. Because if you're resting, you're doing a strength session, you're doing an easy run, interval, long run, double session. Every single one of these days, you're burning different amounts of calories, which means you have to eat differently on all of these different days. If you don't, that's guesswork. What's going to happen? You're not going to have confidence in the result that you want to achieve because you're not getting enough nutrition in on a long run, which means that you're still doing what you was originally doing when you hadn't hired a coach, which is why that average coach isn't going to be able to actually help you, because they might only give you 300 calories more on a long run. If you're doing 60-minute run, this is just 60 minutes, you're going to burn typically, statistically, 9 to 11 calories per minute. So that's 600 calories roughly. So if your maintenance is 2000 and you're eating 1800 on a long run day, because that's a 200 deficit on your maintenance, that's then actually an 800 deficit. Do that day in, day out, inflammation goes wild. That's why you start to look puffy and you start to actually resent running, resent nutrition, because you feel like nothing works for you because online pushes you down that narrative. So ultimately what I do in the second step, and with the first step as well, we just completely gut all of that and we work out exactly how much you need to eat on all your different days so we can control the week and not guess. And like obviously strength as well, this is just a short part that I want to touch on. We need to make sure that we're strength training in order that's aligning, with our goal. If your goal is to run a marathon, we don't want to strength train like a bodybuilder. It needs to be specific. So we put a little bit of attention into fixing your structure, giving you the right movements and tracking. Once you track, you then actually have predictability that you're going to improve not only within your strength, but with your running too. And this is where the real transformation begins, because in step 2, this is where I'll slowly bring you into a calorie deficit. And I will have confidence doing that because every week I look at your data. I find out exactly where your measurements sit, where your performance sits, where your energy sits, where your sleep sits, where your heart rate is. where your weights is, everything. So then I can make the week to week changes for you that's going to move the needle without you having to put much thought into it. And if you're a busy runner yourself, the last thing that you want to do is on a Saturday evening, Friday evening, be worrying about what do I have to eat next week in order to achieve the result. So if you can have someone tell you this is what you've got to do, you then have full fulfillment and knowing with clarity that you're going to get the result that you want, because it's all based out of logic. And the goal is not to just look different. This is ultimately to feel happier as well. Like, you want to feel more confident. You want to feel in control. The reason why you're probably stuck in the cycle as well right now is because there's so much stress going on in your life that the last thing that you want to do is address this stress, because you don't feel like you can actually achieve the result because you haven't got the strategies in place to do so. So as soon as you address this, knowing that I can help you, you're going to feel like you've taken a lot of stress off your shoulders. You're going to start to feel all of these things straight away. And then once we actually implement the strategies, it takes you to the next level, literally levels to this. Nutrition's the biggest factor in every athlete's life, because it will dictate how you look, how you feel, how you sleep, how you perform, everything. And then we learn how to keep the results. So I'll make sure that you sustain these results for the next 10, 20, 30 years through making sure that any deficit that we have entered throughout that second phase, we exit it. But I will make sure I look at your data and make sure your results are looking stable, because then you will have confidence and I'll have confidence, because what doesn't lie? Numbers, data. It's all predictable. And ultimately, if you've stayed the same for the last 8 weeks, what's the likelihood that you'll stay the same for the next 2 years? Very likely, right? Because you can't regress something that's built on concrete rather than sand. If you're building a house on sand, it's going to fall over, and that's why these quick fixes don't work. Whereas if you have an approach that builds a concrete foundation for your metabolism, your results will stick for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. As long as you don't wildly change things, then you'll be good to go. And accountability without expertise is just pressure, as mentioned earlier. Like, you can't keep yourself accountable every step of the way if you don't actually understand how to keep yourself accountable, because knowledge is king. But we don't live in a society where we lack any knowledge, right? You can get it from my page, you can get it from anywhere online. We're literally full of it, but it's actually taking the right bits at the right time and executing them with confidence. I keep saying it because that's what's going to move the needle for you. The reason why you can't do this on your own is because you're so stuck up in your head and not understanding how to execute things. So you just do what you think's best. And that goes back to changing your belief system. So I hope that from watching this, your belief system started to change. That A, there is a way for you to change, but B, you really need to find someone that ultimately understands your problem and knows how to fix it. And that's why I speak with so much conviction for runners, because I've helped so many runners now achieve the goal that you want to achieve. Leaner, stronger, faster, properly fueled. Like, what runner doesn't want to achieve all of those four things? That's ultimately what's going to take you to that next level within your running and help you feel happier. So if you want to sort of find out a little bit more how my process works, and if this is actually going to be for you, if you have me on Instagram, just DM me the word system, just send me a message, and I will take a look at your own problems and find out if we should get on a call. And then what we can do is we can talk through my whole process on the call, and I can show you actually how I coach my clients, because that's like what's missing now. You don't actually know how all of this works, but I'm happy to show you one to one how my process works, how I coach my current clients, and how you can get similar results to them. I'm very transparent. I will show you how all of my clients get results. I will literally show you the week to week process in how their journeys are looking. And then it's literally just down to you to see if it's aligning with you, and if you feel like you're ready to take that next step. So simple. I hope you found this helpful though. And if you're watching this on YouTube, drop this a like. It will do the world of good for you, because you'll see my other content come up, and it also helps me out. And then also drop me a subscribe. But I hope you found